She's not here. Give me a kiss.
All right.
The moment Emma lifted her camera to photograph the groom's first look, she knew she was in trouble. Not because of the lighting or the angle, but because when Daniel turned around, his eyes met hers instead of his bride's, and something shifted in the universe that no amount of professional distance could fix. Emma had photographed over 200 weddings in her 7-year career. She'd seen every kind of love, every shade of joy, every variation of forever. She prided herself on being invisible, a silent observer who captured magic without becoming part of it. But this wedding was different. This wedding was going to destroy her. It started 3 months earlier when Daniel's fiancée, Victoria, hired Emma for their destination wedding in Santorini. Victoria was everything Emma wasn't. Polished, confident, from old money that whispered rather than shouted. During their consultation, Victoria barely looked at Emma's portfolio before writing a check that would cover Emma's rent for 6 months. The wedding was clearly just another item on Victoria's perfectly curated life checklist. Then Daniel walked into that consultation 15 minutes late, apologetic and disheveled from a work emergency, and Emma's pen actually slipped from her fingers. He wasn't classically handsome, not in the way of the groom she usually photographed. But there was something about the way he moved through space, the way he actually listened when Victoria spoke, the way his eyes crinkled when he smiled at some private joke. Emma felt it then, that first dangerous flutter, but she crushed it immediately. She was a professional. This was just another job. Except it wasn't. The pre-wedding shoots began, and Emma discovered that Daniel was a high school English teacher who spent his summers volunteering at literacy programs. He quoted poetry without pretension and had opinions about books that made Emma want to debate him for hours. During the engagement shoot at Central Park, while Victoria took a phone call that stretched into 45 minutes, Daniel and Emma talked about everything from Hemingway to the ethics of photojournalism. He was interested in her work, in a way that felt both thrilling and terrifying. Emma started having dreams about him. Not romantic fantasies, but mundane, devastating dreams where they were living an ordinary life together, making coffee, reading on a Sunday morning, the kind of domestic intimacy that was somehow more painful than any dramatic scenario her mind could conjure. She almost quit the job. Twice, she drafted the email to Victoria, claiming a family emergency or double booking, but she couldn't do it. Partly because of the money, partly because of pride, but mostly because some self-destructive part of her needed to see this through, needed to stand behind her camera and document Daniel promising himself to someone else. The week before the wedding, Daniel showed up at Emma's studio alone. He said he wanted to discuss the timeline, but they both knew Victoria handled all those details. They stood in the golden afternoon light filtering through Emma's windows, and the air between them felt combustible. He took a step toward her. She took a step back. The unspoken stretched between them like a chasm neither dared to cross. "Emma," he said, and her name in his mouth sounded like a question and an answer and a prayer all at once. "Don't," she whispered, because if he said whatever he was about to say, everything would shatter. He left without another word, and Emma sat on her studio floor and cried for the life she would never have. Santorini was exactly as beautiful as the brochures promised. White buildings cascading down volcanic cliffs, the Aegean Sea stretching endless and blue, sunsets that looked photoshopped even in person. Emma arrived 2 days early to scout locations, to prepare, to armor herself for what was coming. The wedding party was staying at an exclusive resort, and Emma had been given a small room in the staff quarters. The distance felt appropriate. She was there to work, to observe, to remain separate from the celebration. The rehearsal dinner was when everything started unraveling. Emma wasn't supposed to attend, but Victoria insisted she photograph it for the wedding album. Emma watched Daniel at the head table, watched him smile at the toasts, watched him hold Victoria's hand. But she also saw the moments in between, the way his eyes would search the room and land on Emma behind her camera, the way his smile would flicker into something else entirely. Victoria's brother gave a speech about how Victoria always got what she wanted, always had, ever since they were children. The guests laughed, charmed by the sibling ribbing, but Emma saw Daniel's jaw tighten almost imperceptibly. Through her lens, she captured truths that no one else seemed to notice. This marriage was Victoria's dream, but was it Daniel's? After the dinner, Emma was packing her equipment when Daniel found her on the terrace overlooking the caldera. "I can't stop thinking about you," he said, the words tumbling out like he'd been holding them hostage for months. "I know the timing is impossible. I know I'm the worst kind of person for saying this the night before my wedding, but I can't marry her tomorrow without telling you that I think I'm falling in love with you." Emma's camera bag slipped from her shoulder, hitting the ground with a thud that echoed her heartbeat. Every fantasy she'd suppressed came flooding back, but so did her principles, her integrity, her respect for the vows he was about to take. "You're marrying her tomorrow, Daniel. Tomorrow. Do you understand what you're saying to me right now?" "I know. God, I know how this sounds, but what if we're making a mistake? What if... There's no we in this, Daniel. There's you and Victoria, and there's me with my camera, doing my job. That's all this can be." "Is it, though? Emma, tell me you don't feel this." And there it was, the question she couldn't answer honestly without destroying everything. So she lied. She lied with her words, even as her eyes betrayed her. "I don't feel anything except professional obligation. Go back to your fiancé. Forget this conversation happened." He stared at her for a long moment, searching for cracks in her facade. Then he nodded slowly, something breaking behind his eyes, and walked away. Emma stood on that terrace until the sun rose, watching the sky turn from black to purple to pink to gold, feeling like she was dying and being reborn with each color change. The wedding day arrived with the kind of merciless perfection that only Greece can deliver. Emma moved through her duties on autopilot, her camera an extension of her breaking heart. She photographed Victoria getting ready, a vision in lace and diamonds, radiating the confidence of someone who'd never doubted her place in the world. She photographed the groomsmen joking and drinking champagne. She photographed every detail Victoria had obsessed over for 18 months. Then came the first look, and Daniel turned around, and his eyes found Emma's instead of his bride's reflection. And Emma understood with sudden, crushing clarity that some moments are too big for photographs, too real to be contained by a frame. The ceremony was held at sunset, the sky performing its daily miracle of beauty. Emma's shutter clicked mechanically as Daniel and Victoria exchanged vows. She captured the kiss, the cheers, the shower of rose petals. Through her viewfinder, it all looked like a fairy tale. But Emma knew the truth that her photographs would never show. She knew about the conversation on the terrace. She knew about the look in Daniel's eyes when he saw her instead of his bride. She knew that some loves are right but mistimed, and that timing might be everything. At the reception, Emma photographed the first dance, the cake cutting, the toasts. She watched Daniel and Victoria move through their choreographed moments, and she saw what everyone else saw, a beautiful couple beginning their beautiful life. But she also saw Daniel's eyes find her in the crowd, saw the question still lingering there, saw the road not taken stretching out between them like a ghost of what might have been. When the dancing started in earnest and Emma could finally slip away, she found herself back on the terrace where Daniel had found her the night before. She looked out at the caldera, at the volcanic island rising from the sea, created by destruction and fire and forces too powerful to resist. She thought about love and timing and choices and consequences. "Did you get the shot?" A voice asked behind her. Victoria stood there, still in her wedding dress, tiara slightly askew, makeup perfect despite hours of celebration. Emma's blood turned to ice. "I'm sorry?" "The shot of Daniel's face when he turned around for the first look. I saw it on your camera screen earlier. It was perfect." "Yes," Emma managed. "I got it." Victoria stepped closer, and Emma braced herself for an accusation, a confrontation, the unraveling of everything. But Victoria just smiled, distant and satisfied. "Good. I want that one blown up for the entryway of our apartment. I want everyone who visits to see how he looked at me on our wedding day." She swept back into the reception, leaving Emma alone with the devastating irony. Victoria would hang a photograph of the exact moment Daniel had been looking at Emma, not her. She would display it proudly, never knowing the truth it captured. And Emma would carry the secret of that moment for the rest of her life, locked in a hard drive and in her heart. Emma picked up her camera and scrolled through the day's images. Hundreds of photographs, each one technically perfect, each one documenting a love story that wasn't the whole truth. She thought about deleting that first look shot, about destroying the evidence of everything unsaid between her and Daniel. But she couldn't do it. Some moments deserve to be remembered, even the ones that break us. She packed her equipment one final time and took a last look at the celebration through the window. Daniel was dancing with Victoria, holding her close, playing his part in the story they'd both agreed to tell. Emma wondered if he would think of her sometimes, years from now, when Victoria was on a work call that stretched too long, or when he was alone with his books and his thoughts. She wondered if he would remember the woman behind the camera who loved him enough to let him go. As Emma left Santorini the next morning, she carried more than just photographs. She carried the weight of a love that existed only in glances and unspoken words, and one impossible conversation on a terrace under the stars. Some people might call it a tragedy, this story of wrong timing and righteous restraint, but Emma knew better. She had witnessed real love in all its forms, had documented hundreds of forevers through her lens, and she understood now that sometimes the deepest love is the one you choose not to pursue, the one that teaches you that honor and heartbreak can coexist, that doing the right thing doesn't always feel good, but it always feels true. Years later, when people asked Emma about her most memorable wedding, she would smile and change the subject, because some stories are too sacred to tell, some photographs too painful to share, and some loves too beautiful to have been anything other than what they were. A moment, a possibility, a lesson in letting go.